Hey everyone, Emily here from Emily Reads, and today I have for you my August 2023 reading plans. Oh, it's hard to believe that it's going to be August. But the reason why I'm filming this early is because when August starts, I have to start thinking about back to school. So that means I'm going to have to start going into my classroom, unpacking it, cleaning up all my files on my computer, just organizing it, things better, and learning a new curriculum because I'm going to be teaching health for the first time. So I figured let's just get this filmed because August will become busy quickly. And in August, I'm going to be doing the Tropical Readathon. So basically the premise of that is you pick your team based on a preferred genre. I decided to go with team romance this go around. I usually do team fantasy, but the team challenge prompts I thought I could fit better than the team fantasy prompts, even though most of my TBR is fantasy. But the team prompts I would fit better for romance. And then, so how it works is you have 13 prompts. Within those, these are common challenges open to every single team. And every single team can fit these prompts. For each prompt, you have your main primary prompt, and then you have an alternative prompt. So you can read one book per prompt. So if I choose to do prompt number 1, which I'll get into what those are, I can only do either the main prompt or the alternative prompt. I cannot do both. And those common prompts are worth 50 points a book. And you cannot double up books. So if my book fits, say, New Kid in the Town, and it's a comfort read too, which are 2 separate prompts, I cannot use one book for 2 prompts. Then each team has common challenges, which is pick a book with this kind of trope in the book that fits within your genre. So for example, for Team Fantasy was a portal fantasy. And the only one that I can think of off the top of my head that I have on my physical TBR is 11/22/63. And I said, I can't read that book right now because I have another big chunker planned. So that's why I'm not going Team Fantasy. So I'm going Team Romance because I can easily come up with shorter books for those prompts. And those team challenge prompts are worth 100 points. And I could decide to read the team challenges for other teams and still get those points. But I knew that I would easily be able to get those 100 points for my team. Then finally, they have team books. So they have an older published book and a newer published book for each genre. And those books are worth 150 points. And again, I can, even though I'm on Team Romance, I plan on reading a team sci-fi book because I can still use that book and I can still get my team 150 points. So I cannot, however, use that book for the common challenges. So that's how it kind of works. I like this readathon because again, it's pretty flexible. All the books I've picked out have already been planned on my TBR anyway, so that works out wonderfully. And without further ado, let's dive right in. So prompt number 1 is absent or a dead parent. And then the alternative prompt, sorry, I'm looking to the side, I have my reading journal here. Then the alternative prompt is book with more than one author. And I have Leviathan Wakes. It has been on my TBR for 2 years now, I think. But I picked up this month The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick, and I've heard wonderful things by numerous booktubers how good this book is. From what I understand, it's kind of like Venetian vibes. And what I discovered is that M.A. Carrick is the partnership of Marie Brennan and Alec Helms. I don't know Alec Helms. I'm sorry, I don't. But Marie Brennan wrote The Memoirs of Lady Trent, and I've only read the first book in that, and I need to read more. And I loved The Memoirs of Trent, so I'm like, Memoirs of Lady Trent, so I'm super excited that she is one of the authors. I don't know if I'll get to this month because it is a big one, but the fact that Marie Brennan is an author has moved this up quicker on my TBR. Then the next prompt is handpicked crew. So read a book where like a crew was picked for a specific task. So like Six of Crows would easily fit with that. Or read a cover by book. And so I'm going to be doing read a cover by book, and that would be The Prior of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I mean, the cover is just beautiful. Like, I love this cover. Like the prequel that I know came out earlier this year would also be another cover by that I really want to get. I don't care what it's about. The cover's just so beautiful. But I do also plan on buddy reading this with Sarah from Sarah Reads. We had planned on this for a while now. So I'm excited to finally get to this because I've had this on my shelf for a couple years. Really all I know is that it's about, there's dragons in here and like someone's trained to be a dragon rider, and it's a chonker. Although it's funny because this looks thicker than Way of Kings, but it's actually shorter than Way of Kings. But I do plan on reading this at the beginning of August because I don't think I'm going to be able to really finish it and accomplish reading this once the school year starts. Then the next two prompts. So the main prompt is New Kid in Town. Then the alternate prompt is a genre that you usually don't read. I do have a nonfiction book that I just acquired that I might substitute in for. I don't know, because I normally don't read nonfiction. Or I might read Symphony of Secrets by Brandon Slocum. I normally don't read thrillers. I'll occasionally pick up a thriller, but they're not my go-to genre. And I really did enjoy Violent Conspiracy. It was a lighter read, I felt, for me. And I loved all of the talk about music and classical music. So this is a possibility. Then the next prompt, the main challenge is multiple timelines. Or the alternative prompt is a book that you've previously DNF'd. And I would go with a book that I previously DNF'd, which would be Parable of the Talents, which is the second book in the Earthseed duology by Octavia E. Butler. And it's not that I didn't enjoy it. I just DNF'd it because I was reading it during the school year. There's a lot going on. And I had a hard time focusing on it. So I don't fully plan on picking this up this month, but it's a possibility there for me. Then the other main prompt is love triangle or friends pick between two books. So you have two books and you say, hey friends, what should I read? And they pick the book that you read. So I'm going to go with love triangle. I looked up on the internet. It was really hard to look this up without getting spoilers. So I'm hoping that I picked correctly because I do really want to read this sooner rather than later just to see what the hype is all about. And what I saw on the internet, I asked, does this book have a love triangle? And I was told on the internet that it does. So if you've read this and I'm wrong, please comment down below. But I've read on the internet that Fourth Wing has a love triangle. If I'm wrong, please tell me, hey, there's no love triangle in Fourth Wing so that I can substitute out. But I did manage to snag a copy of Fourth Wing. No, it does not have the beautiful sprayed edges, but my independent bookstore posted online, we've got 4 copies of this book. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll just break down and buy it and just see if I like this. I don't know. I've heard some booktubers that I follow and watch, some loved it, some was like, this is awful. We shall see where I fall. Then the next prompt is a book that has a recent loss, or the alternative prompt is a recent 2023 release. So I thought I could go with Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. This is for sure a 2023 release. It is the first in a trilogy. From what I understand, it's a retelling of Anthony and Cleopatra. This isn't too terribly high on my TBR, so I don't know if I'll actually get to this month, but again, it's an option for that prompt to help me get my points for my team. Then book prompt number 7, the main prompt is mixed media. So like read a book that has prose and then maybe poetry, or prose and like emails, or you're reading like letters. So there would be that. Or read an audiobook or ebook. So I probably will listen to something on Hoopla or Libby. I've been going through listening to the backlist of Laverne Spencer this year, so that's probably what I'll do for that. Number 8, the main prompt is read a book with an outbreak or a pandemic, or read a comfort read. This is going to be weird, but a comfort read for me right now is Dresden Files. And the reason why it's a comfort read, it sounds really weird, I know, but it's just fun. It is just fun to read them after reading heavy fantasy. And it's just fun to just get lost in a good plot and a fast action story. And they go quicker for me. And so this is White Knight is book 9 in the Dresden Files. So I don't really want to talk about it too much for spoilers, but I'm really kind of worried about where things are going to go after book 8. So we shall see. Then the next prompt is a found family. So a book with a found family, or read a book in a series. So I'm going to do read a book in a series. So right now, Priory of the Orange Tree is for sure. I'm going to read that in August. This next book is also a for sure. I want to read this in August, and that would be The Bands of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 3 in the Mistborn Era 2 series. And I've been working my way through the Cosmere this summer, and I've been trying to read it in publication order. I have some stories that I need to get through in Arcanum Unbounded that I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I want to read them, just because they've been kind of dark. But I do know I need to continue on with the Cosmere, so this is up for August. Then the next prompt is a book with food themes. So that would be like a great cozy romance, like Joanne Fluke, Joanna Carl has food themes. I'm kind of kicking myself that I read Arsenic and Adobo this month, because that would have worked. But the alternative prompt is devour a book in 24 hours. So right now, my plan is to read The Last Contista by Donna Barba Higuera, which I don't know too much. I did win the Newbery Award. The cover's absolutely gorgeous. It's a middle grade sci-fi. I've heard it's beautiful. This I would have to read before school started, because there's no way I could just sit and read a book in a day once school starts. So if I don't accomplish this in 24 hours, then I'll switch out for Wild Robot Escapes, because I know I can read Wild Robot Escapes in 24 hours. Then the next prompt is revenge, like a revenge plot, or read a banned book. And I chose to go with a revenge plot because this also is on my Reddit Fantasy Bingo card. So I need to read this sooner rather than later. But that would be Vicious by V.E. Schwab. So on the Reddit Fantasy Bingo, this is like superheroes that aren't DC Comics. And this is a story of Victor and Eli, who are college roommates. And they do something where they develop extraordinary abilities, and then I don't know from there. So I've heard good things about that book. Then number 12, the main prompt is bookish themes, and then the alternative prompt is a book with a pun in the title. Those have always been hard for me to find, a book with a pun in the title. So bookish themes is a little bit easier. And the option that I have is A Shadow in the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, which this would also then be a book from Spain for my Read Around the World challenge. don't know if I'll get to this in August, but we shall see. And then finally, the common challenge prompts, there's number 13 is read a retelling, which I guess the Chloe Gong book could also fit for that. Or read a book with a TV or movie adaptation. There's lots out there. I really want to read Happiness for Beginners. I have that on hold with my library, so if it comes in time, then I'll use that. But if not, if I don't get to 13, that's okay. So now for the teen challenges. For teen romance, the teen challenge number 1 is read a book with the holiday trope. And so for that, I'm going to do The Gingerbread Christmas Village, and that's a book that I got approved for on NetGalley. So I hope to read that and get that reviewed. And then number 2 is read a book with the meet cute trope. A Merry Little Meet Cute. I mean, it's got meet cute in the title. And that's by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This also technically would fit for a book with more than one author, but yeah, from what I understand, this is like a Hallmark movie set, and the one of the actors in it, like she gets cast in this Hallmark movie, but they're not a Hallmark movie type actor. They're actually kind of an adult film star, from what I understand, I think. I could be wrong. Yes, she's a plus size adult film star, and she gets cast in this like Hallmark movie kind of movie. It seems super cute. It got a lot of buzz. This book is kind of falling apart, so clearly it's been a pretty popular book. It's time for me to read it. And then last book that I have, this also would fit for the prompt for a book with a TV or a movie adaptation, but I'm going to use it for the teen science fiction book, and that is The Three Body Problem by Liu Cixin. And I did ask, so 2 things to know. So on the cover, it has Cixin Liu, but in Chinese, Liu, the family name, should be first. So that's why I said Liu first. And then I asked my friend, I have a friend who has lived in China for about a decade, and I asked her, like, how do you pronounce his first name? And she said, best guess is this, but she was not sure because Mandarin is a tonal language, so she wasn't sure, like, tonally if that was correct, because she wasn't sure how, but she's like, I think it's this. So that's why I pronounced it the way that I did just then, because I did just recently ask for that. However, from what I understand, this is set against the Chinese Cultural Revolution, and it's like a first contact with aliens. I've been wanting to read this. I've heard really good things about this trilogy, and I did see the Netflix trailer for this. It's coming. The adaptation is coming out in January, so like I have to read this before I can see the adaptation. And the trailer, it looks amazing. I'm terrified that they're going to butcher it, because they totally butchered Persuasion. So hopefully they don't butcher it, but I do want to read this. So for sure that I will read in August is Prior of the Orange Tree. For sure I'm going to read Bands of Mourning. For sure I'm going to read A Merry Little Meet Cute, because that'll be a good book to read like at night while I'm going to sleep, or like at school during lunch. Like it'll be a quick, or something between like my big chunky fantasy. From there, I don't know where I'll go. I'm going to pick and choose, like, where is my mood at? What can I quickly read and knock things off my TBR? Because that is really something that I really do need to focus on, is getting things down off my TBR. And I have these books that I really want to read. I look really forward to reading, but then I just have not been reading. So from that, for sure I'm going to read Pride with Orange Tree, Bands of Mourning, Merry Little Meet Cute. Beyond that, please let me know in the comments down below what you think I should prioritize. If you've read any of these books, I know for sure I really want to prioritize Mask of Mirrors. Just don't know because it's another chunky book. But let me know your thoughts. Thanks. Happy reading, everyone.